Happy Tuesday. It's my Monday. And I'm sitting here uploading a video that I just made in my car about man buns. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. And waiting for my husband to get home. He gets home at like 10:30 or, well, he won't probably get home till like 11 or 12 tonight. But they should be flying back soon. So, yeah, I've just been running around doing errands. I had the meeting that I talked about earlier today. You can see I dressed up so much for that. And then I just went and got a coffee. And then I made the video. And now I don't know, I'm just sitting here. I'm kind of bored. I was thinking about reading a book. I was going to make some more videos today. I was going to do my meditation videos and all that stuff today, but I think I'm going to take a break today. Tomorrow, I have the whole day off. So I'm going to film like a bunch of videos to get like caught up, if that makes sense. And just kind of get, so that I can like post those meditation videos and have them like for a whole week in advance. Because I had said on my vlog on here that I was maybe thinking about not doing it. And then like so many people, not so many, but like 5 or 6 people were like, please keep it up. I love the meditations. They're really helping me. It is so dark in here. I apologize, you guys. It's so pretty outside, you see. I've had the windows open like the whole weekend because it's been kind of sunny since it stopped finally raining. And I'm thinking about going to get something to eat, but I don't really know what I want to go eat. So I was thinking Bob Evans, but now I'm just like really not hungry for Bob Evans. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to eat. How are you guys doing today? It's like a calm day. The dogs are all sleeping. And we had treats and stuff earlier, so. All right, bye. Hi. Well, my plan had been to like vlog all day long, but since I really didn't do anything today, that did not happen. So I apologize. I mean, I literally didn't do anything today. I filmed one video, put together the vlog, and I was like, you know what? I just need a day to relax. Like, I just didn't really feel motivated to do anything today. I wasn't sad. I was content. You know those days that you're not like overzealous, but you're like content? That's just kind of how I was all day long today. And so yeah, I mean, it was a good day, but I just didn't like do anything. Which I guess for you guys would be kind of nice if I actually had a change of scenery. What was I watching? Oh, I know. I like get emails from this blog that I used to read, and now they like do updates through like emails, which is, it's very smart actually. Anyway, so but I'm very fascinated. Like all it is a lifestyle blog. It's just this person blogging about their life like day to day. And I like literally like when it comes, I like read everything. And I was like, that's really what I would like my vlog to be. But if it was that, like, it wouldn't be me having conversations with you guys, because it would really just be me, like, showing you walking into CVS, well, I never go to CVS, but, like, me walking into Costco, or me going to the library and being very quiet because I can't, is that what you guys would like to see? I'm, like, more than willing to, like, change this up from time to time, but, like, I do think that's, like, I don't know, I don't love vlogs like that, to be honest with you. Like, I would rather sit and listen to somebody talk for a half an hour, and, it's like Zach at the Adventures of Zach and B. He now has, like, a vlogging channel, like an extras channel, and, like, he did this video called, like, vlogging like Peter Monn or something. It was funny. He was waiting for his fiance at the airport, and, like, I could just sit and listen to somebody talk like that, like, all day long. Like, I love it. Like, I love just sitting there. It very much reminds me of Big Brother After Dark. So I think, like, I'm some people's gig, but not everybody's gig. Like, I think you have to kind of, like this, or I'm probably not for you. Like, if you're wanting to see the, shots of nature and the great, background music and the clips here and the shoots here and the shot, that's not who I am, and I don't claim to be that, and I admire those videos, and I do watch some of it, but some of it's not real interesting to me, to be really honest with you. I feel like it's an advertisement for travel a lot of times, and I don't think it really I don't feel like it tells me anything about the person. But I do think that YouTube is moving in the direction of more vlogging, just like sitting down and talking, which is great because that's what I love to do. I'm so hungry right now. I ate way too early today. I went to Tanya's and at the kennel and took her to go get a fountain pop. I actually got a bottle of water, can you believe it? And Fiji, not sponsored, like Jacqueline Hill. But anyway, I after that, I like went home and ate, and then I laid down, and I just feel like I've been running the last couple days so much, you know, that I'm just like really tired. I have all these shows on Netflix. I finally finished Grace and Frankie last night. It was so sad, the end of the season. So the third season? I think it's the end of the third season. And there was an ad that came up that said that Bloodlines is coming on May 23rd. Well, I didn't even finish the last season because I thought it was so boring. I thought the first season was phenomenal. I thought the second season was Yawnsville completely. And so anyway, I think I'm going to try to finish that. And I'm laughing because I don't read my texts and drive, like, you know, that's one thing that's changed. But like, it's a comment that came up on YouTube and I can see it and it's like all these blue hearts. I love that when people do that. But yeah, and I don't have anything to do on Tuesday. So I'm just gonna do some fun stuff. I wanna clean out, like, fun stuff, like clean out these drawers in our kitchen. And I like sometimes on here, like, this is gonna sound like, I don't know how to say it like this, but like, you know, like how I'm trying to be like so honest compared, like not honest compared to anybody, but I'm trying to be like so honest in my videos. But it's like sometimes like I'm afraid that like if I say certain things they'll be taken the wrong way. But I don't know, I'm like, whoever relates to it relates to it. Like, I have every bill paid for the month of May. And it is May 8th. Okay. I cannot tell you how much that means to me. I have been, for the last 6 months or a year, trying to get an entire month ahead. I don't know if I don't know where this misconception in the world comes from that everybody has $20,000 just sitting in the bank to write checks for or whatever. Like, I feel like I watch all of these, like, younger YouTubers, not just one, not just two. Don't try to say that I'm saying this about anybody. There's a lot of them, right? That are like, oh, well, I have this and I have that. And I think there's sometimes I sit there and I think, how do you seriously? And these are not, like, rich people, you know? And I'm like, how do you have the money? Like, I make pretty good money. My husband makes pretty good money. How do you have the money to do all this? Like, I don't understand it. Now, I will say that Alex and I don't really live on credit cards. We usually, if we don't have the money to spend on it, we don't pay on it. Because in the past, I got myself in a lot of credit card debt, and I had to, like, do the Dave Ramsey, snowball my way. By the way, people ask on here all the time for financial advice. If you want some financial advice, go get Dave Ramsey's book. I can't remember, it's his first book that he wrote. But it's fantastic, and it taught me how to snowball debt. And, so we did that, and I also owned my condo outright, so we took a cash loan on it to pay off some of the debt, which was smart. Like, I guess it's a smart financial move, I was told. I don't know. But, so yeah, I'm really excited because I have, and, you know, all my bills paid for, that's like, for me, safety. So now anything that I make going forward for this month, and I have like 3 corporate executive things, which are good. That means anything going forward this month goes into savings. I'm super excited about it. So like, if you've never been like that before with me, like, listen, when people say I live paycheck to paycheck, we live paycheck to paycheck. I mean, we're not so broke that we can't go to a Sizzler or something like that. I mean, we do enjoy the finer things in life, like dinners and Alex buys things and whatever, but like, he just got back from Miami, but we don't spend a lot of money, so I was so excited. I like actually have my HOA check right here. HOA, Homeowners Association. They should just call that how we screw you out of money is what they should call it. They do absolutely nothing for us, and we pay them money every month. I think it's a total jip. And now we have to pay for some lake wall that's like going up, and they're like, oh, it's going to be $850, and they voted on it. I'm like, when did this vote happen? Like, I never know about these like meetings and voting things that happen. But anyway, so that was my thing today. I was excited that I got all the bills paid for May. That is the third police car in a row. I guess vlogging is legal. Anyway, they were all looking down at their computer screens. There was something else I was going to tell you. Oh, somebody mentioned on my vlog in the comments, and I really appreciate this comment. This is not me chewing the comment apart, but I wanted to explain it. Somebody said in there, you should make more of an effort to see your dad. Okay. If my mother and my aunt were alive, they would laugh right now, because I have made such a huge effort in the last couple years, last 10 years, to really see my dad on a regular basis. My dad is so busy, and I'm not making excuses for him. That's the excuse he uses. And when he's at home on the weekends, he isolates with my stepmother. So I could call my dad and say like, hey dad, I'd love to see you. And he'd be like, well, today's not a good day. Or if I said to him like, I mean, it's really sad, you guys. If you talk to my dad would say, oh, he calls me Pete. He would be like, Pete and I have a great relationship. And a lot of times why I don't like to talk about it on camera is because he sees it as a great relationship. I feel like it's very lacking. But I've written letters. I've expressed how I felt. He's taken ownership. He's said that these things will change, but they don't change. So it's like, you know, he's 76. I don't know what to do at this point, you know. I think he's very proud of me. I think he thinks he did his job. I put my dad through absolute hell through high school and college. And I think he really probably thought he was going to bury me or have to visit me in prison. And I think the fact that I'm married and I'm on my own and I own my own business and I'm reliant financially, I think he thinks, you know what? I did my job. I love Pete. He's doing great. I don't have to worry about him. So I don't know that I'm always on his radar, which kind of hurts a little bit. But to be really honest with you, I don't know that a lot of people, even my stepmom, are on my dad's radar. He's just it's like work or dogs. Like, my dad loves his dogs. They have a lot of them. He loves his dogs. They live on the lake. He loves to just sit out there and smoke a cigar and read and watch the news for 4 hours. And that's Law and Order. That's his new thing. He loves Law and Order. So that's like my dad's life, you know, and he's a really, like, he would do anything for me if I called him and I said, hey dad, you know, like, he would say, yeah, sure, blah, 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 whatever, but can you call and schedule it with my assistant? I mean, that's what he would say, you know, and my stepmom even laughs at it too. She's like, Peter, it's the same thing with me. She's like, you know, I don't want you to think that, like, you're the only one that's getting that treatment, because it's not the case. And he is very busy, so it's really hard. You know, but I don't want people to think that, like, he's not in my vlogs or I don't talk about him regularly because I don't love my dad or I'm not making an effort to see him. I really, really make an effort to see my dad. And I just, you know, it just is what it is. He's been like that ever since I've been a little kid. My dad said to me one time, he said, I would have better served you being a plumber. I probably would have been home every evening at 5. I'll get 20 comments from plumbers' wives saying, oh no. But no, he said, you know, like, because my dad, when I was growing up, was on call 24 hours a day, every day of the week. Was never not on call until he had, like, partners. And, you know, if I was with him on the weekends and on Wednesday nights or whenever he took me whenever my mom wanted. Like, if she said, I want you to take Peter tonight, my dad took me. He was very involved in my growing up. My dad never missed a concert, a sporting event, nothing. I mean, my dad was there for everything. And he was an amazing parent, you know. I found out in journals, I feel like I shared this last night in my vlog, but maybe I was sharing this in my personal life today. I found out years later, through my mom's journals, that my mother actually didn't want a child, that it was my dad that really wanted a child, and my mother had me. I mean, I think she later said to me, you're the only thing that ever, like, was really positive of my life back then, but and we were so close. But my mother got pregnant kind of in a way to save the marriage, if that makes sense, but my dad was really the one that wanted me. And my mom even used to say, you know, your dad would be on 48-hour rotations doing his residency, and he would come through the door after 48 hours of doing his medical residency, and I would just hand you off to him, and he would just take care of you for the next 12 hours. You were like his best friend. So my dad has been such a great father to me. I don't hold anything against him. And if the man doesn't want to have lunch once a week or once every other week in his 70s, I get it, you know? Would I like to be more involved with him and travel with him? Sure, but he doesn't do a lot of that stuff anyway, so. But I wanted to say this. The reason that I don't talk about it on my video often about my dad and I's relationship, because if I ever sit on here, and I've seen this happen on other channels, and I say anything about my dad and I not getting along, at least one person will jump to the assumption that it's because I'm gay and my dad's not okay with that, okay? And that is absolutely 100% not the case. My father has been supportive of me way before I came out. My dad would sit there and tell you all day long that he knew that I was going to be gay and that he believes that it's genetic. My dad believes as a surgeon and as a doctor and spiritually as well that it is genetic and that it's just the same as my eyes being blue. He said, you know, he's never embraced one. I mean, he's never not embraced one of my boyfriends. He walked me down the aisle at my wedding. He spoke at our wedding. He adores Alex, and I could never have asked for a more loving father when it comes to sexuality, you know? And I remember one time too, I was asking my dad, because my dad is a plastic and reconstructive surgeon. When I was growing up, he didn't do so much cosmetic. He did mostly like cleft palates, burn victims, children with burn victims, things like that, hand reconstruction. But I remember when he started doing cosmetic surgery, I was like in high school, and I can't remember, there was some movie that came out about somebody that was transgender, and I asked my dad if he would do like a gender reassignment surgery. And he said to me that he had actually done top surgeries before, but he said, you know, like they had, like, this is kind, I learned a lot about gender reassignment from my dad. Like, is that even the word that we use today? I think that's so ignorant that I just said that. But anyway, I learned about it a lot from my dad, because my dad said, you know, like, you have to live as the opposite sex for a year, and, you know, you have to, like, be, you know, on hormones, replacement therapy, and you have to, you know, all this kind of stuff, be in psychiatric sessions so that they can whatever. And he told me that the suicide, I don't know if this is true today, but I do know back then, he said to me, he said the suicide rate of people that are transgender is the same pre and post-op. And he said, so what we know is that, you know, something is going on there that's in the head. You know, it's aligning the body and that, and I think we're much better with that today. But I remember when my dad, he just kind of, he was reading a book when we were having this conversation. I'll never forget this, in the basement. And he closed the book and he said, do you feel like that's true for you? And I said, do I feel like what's true for me? And he said, are you asking me these questions because you have questioned your gender? And I said, no. And I hadn't, you know. I love feminine things. I always have. I love, you know. But that wasn't my truth. And my dad said, I will never forget, he put his hand on my shoulder. He goes, you know, Pete, I would love you no matter what, right? He goes, and I would support you 100%. That was like in 87, okay? I was like a sophomore in high school. I mean, that's pretty progressive for 87, you know? I just feel really, really blessed to have had such a great dad, you know? To have had two really great parents. And also to grow up and to realize that parents have their faults. I mean, I sometimes wonder, like with my mom, had my mom not gotten sober, I wonder what my relationship like would have been with her, you know? Like, I mean, my mom got sober 6 months after I did, so we had a pretty phenomenal relationship because of that. I mean, we shared 12-step program. You know, we talked the language of recovery. We talked that. My mother was very involved. I remember when I went to her hospital room, there were all these women from some women's group that she went to, and they were all like so protective of my mom. And then when they found out who I was, they were like, oh my God, you're Peter? Oh, blah, 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 blah. And I know a lot of people that are in sobriety, even if you don't leave it in the comment section, you guys message me. I know a lot of people in sobriety watch my videos, and that it just is such a cool thing to me. I'll tell you one thing about my mom and I that kind of saved our relationship, is that we agreed very early on that we would never take each other's inventory, which means kind of judge each other's 12-step programs, and we would never participate in that other person's program. So therefore, we never went to the same meetings. I never heard my mother's lead. A lead is when somebody gets up and tells their story. She never heard my lead. I never met her sponsor. She never met mine. I actually met her sponsor the day at her funeral. And had my mom made it to June, she died on May 14th, which this year is on Mother's Day. Had she made it to June 2nd, she would have had 13 years of sobriety. And we don't, in 12-step programs, we don't borrow time, and what that means, which is so funny, because my mom used to always say that we're on borrowed time, but we don't borrow time, you know, which means that, like, if you die on May 14th and your birthday's June 2nd, you have 12 years and 11 months of sobriety. You don't have 13 years. And my mom's sponsor came up to me and she introduced myself to her, and I had heard about this woman for 12 years. And she was like my age. And I thought she was like 70, you know? God, it's so crazy. And she was like, I loved your mom so much. She was like, I'm so sorry. And she was like, my kids loved your mom. I didn't even know this woman. And my mom had like grown up with her kids, and because we had so chosen to like protect our relationship by keeping our sobriety separate, that she never knew my sponsor. I never knew hers, you know? And I look back on that and I think, I don't know why it protect our sobriety, but like, I don't know that my mom knowing my sponsor would have like, it would have like hurt things, you know? My glasses are so fucking dirty right now. But anyway, she said, I don't know why that part makes me cry. I just miss having my mom to talk to about sobriety, you know? It's like such a cool thing. Like, it's somebody that like really knows your heart and soul, but at the same time, like, I mean, it's kind of like what Tanya is for me, because she's like such a long-lost friend, but we're both sober together, you know? I mean, not long-lost friend, but like, we've been friends for 21 years, you know? And we're both sober. But like with my mom, like, I could say things to her, you know? I could say, like, I'm resentful at blah, 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 this person from when I was 8 years old, and she would get it. You know, we would have these great conversations and just sit there, and my glasses keep on fogging up. And drink coffee and smoke cigarettes for hours, just listening to Judy Collins albums and Bob Dylan, and talk about, you know, sobriety and things we had heard, and what do you think about this concept, and, you know, all this kind of stuff. But that day, I remember my mom's sponsor said to me, she said, I went and I got a 13-year coin for her. I was going to give it to you because I thought you might want to bury it in the casket. And I said, no, you know my mom. She was so hardcore about this shit. She took it literally exactly how every word was written in the basic text. I said, we don't borrow time. She would have been so proud of that 13 years, you know? And I really struggled in the hospital because my mom was in a coma and they wanted to give her pain medicine. And my mother would have been so against that. Like, if she had been sober or if she had been lucid, she would have been like, I don't want any pain medication. I mean, I know that. Like, my mother never took an aspirin. And I called my sponsor and I said, I don't know what to do. And he said, I think this is an extenuating circumstance, Peter. And I said, well, I understand that. Like, if it was me, I would do that, you know? But I said, I don't feel like it's my right to take her sobriety from her, you know? I think, like, in some ways, like, the therapy has been really good for me. But I think, like, in a lot of ways, it's, like, opened up a lot of shit that I haven't been thinking about in a long time, you know? I gave her the pain medicine, and I don't regret it, you know? Like, I didn't want my mom to be in pain. I didn't know if she was, like, I mean, you don't know in a coma, like, if she's aware of it or not. God, why am I crying so much tonight? It's ridiculousness. videos on YouTube, you know, wanting to bitch and complain about, if I can't do my passion, I'm gonna have to get a real job. Patreon accounts. Drama, 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 drama. All this bullshit. Bury a fucking parent and call me up. You know, sit in a hospital room for 3 months, day in and day out. Walk over bodies for 22 years in sobriety because of the disease of addiction, you know? Here's stories of kids being so horrifically sexually abused that you can't even sleep at night because of it. Because of what they share with you. And then get on camera and preach to me about how bad your life is. I should be so lucky, you know? I have an amazing life and I'm so grateful for it. And people lose parents 10 times worse than I do. You know, one of my best friends, she was 21 years old and her mother hung herself a year before my mom passed away. 21 years old. I miss my mom. She was my best friend. She died in a hospital bed, you know, surrounded by her closest friends and family, with Gregorian chants and show tunes. There's not much of a better way to go. You know, my aunt died at home, in her nightgown, in bed. There's not much worse. It can't get any better than that if you're gonna go, you know? People cry at funerals, you know, I've said this on here before, not because of that person, but because we're so fucking selfish, we miss them. This is because I miss my mom. I want my mom. I've been trying to put this stupid video together all week long about this favorite Mother's Days that we did, and I keep on thinking about this one Mother's Day that my mom and I took, and we like got a picnic together, and she made like homemade potato salad and chicken curry, because I love chicken curry. But I can't find the recipe for it. And I'm like, I can't ask her for it, you know? And I'm pissed. And it's stupid. It's so stupid and ungrateful. But I'm pissed. Because there's so many things I want to ask her that I can't ask her, you know, and now my aunt's gone and I don't have her to ask either. Hey, Kathy, what was Mom's chicken curry? I don't have that, you know? And I can remember my mom, I can see her standing in the kitchen and just like, I'd be like, Mom, like, what am I going to do when you're going to be gone? And I don't know how to make your chicken curry. And it was my favorite meal. She made it for me for every birthday with a homemade pecan pie. And I would say, and she'd say, oh, sweetie, don't put me in the ground. Honey, I tell my mom, she'd be, sweetie, don't put me in the ground yet. I'm not curtains. I'm not going anywhere. She did, you know. And sometimes I think I'd like to make that, and I don't know how. Not how she did it, but it's okay. I told my mom one time, she said, what was my favorite meal that you made when you were growing up? I am almost positive I shared this on here before. And I said chicken a la king, and she looked at me, she goes, are you kidding me? And I said, no, why? And she goes, sweetie, that comes from a can, and you heat up some biscuits in a can and pour it over there. I go, oh, I thought you like cooked it. She's like, no, it's super cheap and super easy to make. She's like, I can't believe you don't like my meatloaf. I said, I hate your meatloaf. Oh, it's good to have these memories, you know? And like my friend used to say, if I can't cry about it, it didn't mean anything. So I'm glad that it meant something to me, you know? I just don't want to cry 20 years from now on a daily basis. Like, I never, like, unless I'm honest to God, people are like, oh my God, you're crying again about your mom, unsubscribed. To be honest with you, I have gotten that comment a couple times, and I'm like, that's really more embarrassing for you than it is for me, but just so you know. But like, unless I'm on camera actually telling these stories and talking about it, it's not like I just walk around and sob. Like, you guys, like, really only see, I know, you guys see more of my life than any other vlogger out there, because I vlog so damn long every day. But, like, it's, like, if I'm on camera talking for 20 minutes about my mom and telling some story, I'll, like, cry about it. But, like, driving around all day long or going and talking, it's not like I'm just like, oh, mom, oh, mom, oh, mom. I mean, I'm, like, a little bit more centered than that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I miss her, but I've kind of got my shit together a little bit more than that. But when I tell the stories to you guys, it makes me kind of like relive them and think about them, you know? And I'm happy about that. I want to have these to look back on. How the hell am I ever going to look back on these videos like years from now? I mean, like, I've already clocked in like 900 hours. All right, you guys, well, listen, it's late. I've been talking for a half an hour straight, so I'm going to get off here and stop bothering you. I love you. You better do something nice for your mother today. And listen, all of us that don't have mothers that are alive anymore, pick a nice woman in our life and do something nice for her. Like, I'm going to do something nice for Tanya. So, I love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.